Hi there! So today I want to try to make a Japanese curry in my Instant Pot. Now I know you can still do this on a stovetop. It takes about an hour to simmer and then, you have a pot of curry. But what I want to do is to see if I can do it in the Instant Pot so that I could put it in, push a button, and then leave it alone. And I've looked at a bunch of recipes on YouTube as well as some written ones online. So this is something I just sort of put together with what I had and also what I was able to get my hands on. So first off is the curry. So obviously I'm not a very good chef, so I'm going to use instant curry. And one of the videos said that you need a box. But what they did was they used half a box of the Vermont curry and then half a box of the golden curry. So I'm going to try that because the Vermont curry has a taste of apple and honey, and the other one is just a plain mild or medium spiced curry. Obviously, if you don't find both of these, using one or the other is perfectly fine. And then the other ingredient I'm going to use is chicken. This is about 3 pieces of chicken thigh, boneless, skinless, and then I just chopped it up into chunks. You could also use things like beef, or if you want to stay vegetarian, you can also use eggplant instead. And when I was cutting this up, I realized that probably the hardest part of this whole process is getting that fat off of those chicken thighs. So maybe next time I might try to use chicken breast or something. And then I have 2 carrots, medium-sized, that I'm going to cut into chunks as well. And then 2 medium-sized onions, and 3 potatoes. And those are just the vegetables. You can actually add other vegetables if you like. Some people put in string beans or eggplants or other things, so you can do that. So what I'm going to do is, basically the idea is to put everything in the pot, put the curry in the pot, put the water in the pot, and let it do its thing. So I'm going to go and give the chicken a little bit of a marinade with some salt and pepper while I chop up the vegetables, and then I will come back. First, you're going to add a little bit of salt and pepper to the chicken. Not too much, just a little bit. Give it a mix and let it sit on the counter while you chop up the rest of your vegetables. First, with the potato, you want to cut it lengthwise in half, and then again lengthwise in half, and then give them nice big chunks. You don't want to cut it too small because when it cooks down, it's going to break down, so you still want some chunks. With the carrot, you want to cut it at an angle so that one, it looks nice at the end, and also, again, it stays relatively large enough so that even if it cooks down, you'll still have a nice piece of carrot to bite into. And then lastly, the onion, again, cut it in half, and then take the ends off of both sides so that you can get the skin off. Be careful with your fingers because the onion is a little bit slippery and kind of round. So you want to take the skin off, and then you want to give it a little rinse under some cold running water, and then cut them lengthwise. Again, top to bottom, so you'll get nice long pieces of onion. And that should be the end of the prep work that you have to do for this Japanese curry. So once you have all your ingredients ready, what you're going to do is plug the pot into the wall and then hit the saute button. Then give it about 2 minutes to heat up, and then we're going to add some oil to the pot. About a tablespoon of oil should do. And then the first thing we're going to add to the pan is the onions. We're going to give it a few minutes to soften in the pan. And you'll hear a little sizzle when you throw the onions in, like that. And like I said, we're going to keep it in the pan, give it a little stir for a few minutes. Let the onions soften and caramelize. After about 5 minutes, the onions are going to soften and they're going to start changing color. At that point, we're going to add the garlic and also some grated ginger. Now, all these ingredients are going to be in the description, so don't worry about not seeing what I'm putting into the pan. But right now, I'm putting in the garlic and the grated ginger. And you're going to give that a stir and let that cook for about a minute to give the garlic and ginger a chance to heat up. And you'll start smelling the garlic and the ginger. Then we're going to add the chicken. We're going to give the chicken a little stir also once we put it in, just for about a minute, just to let it all blend together. Like that. It already smells really good. The next thing we're going to add are just the carrots and the potatoes. So carrots and potatoes. Now, if you cut the potatoes ahead of time and you're not ready to use them yet, put them in some cold water so they don't turn brown on you. And then we're also going to add in the 3 cups of water. So here's 2 cups of water. And I have to get another cup. There. You want the water just to be right about at the level of the vegetables, so this is good. The last thing you want to do is put in the chunks of curry. Give it a quick stir. And that's basically it. So first we're going to put the lid on, and again you want to make sure that the lid goes on tight, so make sure it goes all the way in. And it should play a melody and a beep, and then you're going to give it a twist. And then the last thing you want to do is make sure that the quick release valve is set to sealing, which is pushed backward. If it's in the forward position, it's venting, and that's not what we want. Next to that, you want to make sure that the float valve is in the down position. That's when we want to start. Once you see that come all the way up, that means the pot is at full pressure and the cooking has begun. So in the front, we want to hit the cancel button to start over. And then for this, we're going to use the meat and stew setting. So we're going to press that button, but it defaults to 35 if it's the first time you've used that setting, which it is for me. But what we want to do is actually only use 15 minutes. So use the minus key and press it all the way until it gets down to 15. And then once you release it, it'll take about a minute, and then it'll start the counting process. Actually, it's going to beep, and then the pot's going to come on. After that, it's going to come up to pressure, and then it's going to cook for the 15 minutes. Once that's done, you're going to want to leave it in the keep warm mode for about half an hour so that it can naturally release the pressure from the pot. So I'm going to go clean up and then be back in a little bit. So the pot took about 20 minutes to come up to pressure, and then it counted down the 15-minute cooking time. After that, I went into keep warm, and it started naturally releasing the pressure. I let it do that naturally because I wanted the vegetables to soften a little bit more. And at about 45 minutes or so, I saw the float valve go down. So it took about 45 minutes to completely release all of the pressure from inside the pot. Now that might seem like a long time, but really I just pressed a button and was able to actually walk away instead of having to babysit the stove for an hour. So I find it very convenient. So now I'm going to open the lid and see what it looks like inside. So when you open the lid, you want to be really careful because the surfaces are still really, really hot. So what you want to do is give it a twist, and it'll play a melody, and then you can take the entire lid off. But be careful because, again, the contents are hot, so make sure that you face the lid away from yourself. And then you can take the lid aside and see what it looks like inside. Oh, it definitely smells really good, so let me give it a stir and see what it looks like. So, as you can see, the curry needs to be mixed in, but once you give it a stir, you'll see that all of the curry will melt into the mixture, and it actually looks really good. If you keep stirring, the sauce is going to thicken itself, and the vegetables are soft but still intact. And I also noticed there's no smell of curry until I just opened the lid. So I think this was definitely a success. I can definitely use it the next time I do a potluck gathering. This can actually be eaten right now as it is over some rice or some ramen noodles. But when I was looking online, I saw that some people added a little bit more of a flavor to it by putting in a teaspoon of ketchup and a teaspoon of soy sauce. So if you're feeling a little bit adventurous, you can give that a try. But I think I'm going to eat it just the way it is right now. So thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoy your meal. Bye!